Hello and welcome back to Shulchan HaRav. We continue in Hilchos Kriya Shmah, Siman, Samech Vav. We pick it up with Sif Beis. Kol Makam Shemutar Lahafsik, Be'emtza Parak. Anytime it's permissible to interrupt in the middle of a chapter, Mutar Afila Be'emtza Pasuk. It's also mutar to do the same thing in the middle of an actual pasuk. Chutz mi Pasuk Shema Yisrael, except for the Pasuk Shema Yisrael, Shaloi Yafsik Boy Klal. You should never interrupt in that pasuk. Im Lo B'nei Misha Yari Menashom Yahargeno. Unless Chas v'Shalom, you're so afraid of a person that if you don't respond to him or react, he might kill you. Chalila. The same thing applies to Baruch Shem Kavod Malchusay. Shegam Hu B'chal HaYichud. That's also part of the unification of Hashem's name. And umitam and for that reason, ein lahafsik gam kein bein Shema Yisrael liBaruch Shem Kavod Malchusay. You should also not interrupt between Shema Yisrael and Baruch Shem Kavod because it's all about the Yichud of Hashem, and you should not interrupt there. V'yeshram, and then there are those that say Shafil be'emta shar hapsukim lo yafsik, that even in the middle of other psukim, obviously not in Shema Yisrael or Baruch Shem, you can't interrupt anyways, but there's an opinion that says in other psukim you could interrupt, but ela b'siyam inyan, but you should only do it in the end of, when you're at the end of a concept, an entire idea. Not in the middle of an idea. Going, for example, the pasuk v'samtam, where it says, this is in the second paragraph of Shema. V'samtem es divorei eila al levavchem. You shall place these words of mine on your hearts, ve'al nafshechem, and on your souls. So at that point, you could make an interruption. Yochel hafsik bein nafshechem li'ukshartam. You could make a separation between nafshechem and ukshartam because shehu inyan acher, because ukshartem begins another concept of tying putting on tefillin. The first part of the pasuk is thinking about Hashem, and the second part is putting on doing the mitzvah of tefillin. Aval ad nafshechem, but until you get to the word nafshechem, lo yafsik bein teilav teva. Don't make any interruptions in between those words. Shehu be'emtza inyan, which is the middle of a concept. In pasuk, if you did interrupt there, you have to start over from the very beginning of the pasuk. How can you start in the middle of an inyan, of an idea? It won't have any meaning now because you interrupted. As far as practical application, when you interrupt for answering to Amin Heshmei Rabba or Kedusha or Baruch Hu K'moish Yisbar, as will be explained coming up, you can interrupt even in the middle of an idea, which is relying on the first opinion that said you can interrupt anywhere except for the first pasuk. They don't make any differences. According to that opinion, there's no difference between the beginning of an inyan, the middle of an inyan, doesn't matter. Between inyanim, and you can do this in any situation. You can interrupt. And this opinion should be relied upon when it's a big mitzvah like answering kedusha, kaddish, etc. Unless it's impossible to. Only when it's impossible to reach the place where there's an end of an inyan, if you have to say words a little bit quicker. Obviously, you shouldn't say it so quick you're not saying the words, but saying them a little bit quicker in order to get to where the tzibur is, la'anas imat tzibur, and answer together with the minyan. You could do that. You could interrupt in the middle if you're not going to be able to go quick enough to catch up. But again, when you do go back to where you interrupted, you should then have in mind to be concerned for the second opinion, to go back to the beginning of that pasuk and not just pick it up where you left off, because it's like it doesn't have any meaning because you interrupted it with other words. Have a terrific day. And for those of you on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Thanks.